Chapter 1: Crop Production and Management. In this video, we are going to study about irrigation, various methods of irrigation, protection of crops, harvesting and storage of grains. First, let us see what is irrigation. All living beings need water to live, as water is important for proper growth and development of organisms. पानी organisms के लिए जरूरी है. Plants roots के through पानी absorb करते हैं. Plants absorb water through their roots. Usually we give water to our potted plants by using a mug. But when a farmer waters the crops grown in a field or large area, the process of watering the crops is called irrigation. So irrigation is termed as the process of watering crops in the field at different time intervals. Now in India, farmers cannot depend on rain for irrigation because it may not rain when the crops require rain. अगर फार्मर बारिश का वेट करेंगे और बारिश नहीं होगी तो क्रॉप को पानी ठीक से ना मिलने की वजह से क्रॉप यील्ड या फसल कम होगी. So to get a good produce, crops need to be irrigated properly. The time and frequency of irrigation differs from crop to crop and soil to soil. According to the type of crops, the soil and also the season in which the crop is sown. The water needed for irrigation is obtained from various sources like rivers, lakes, ponds, wells, tube wells, canals and dams. There are two different methods of irrigation. Traditional method like moat, chain pump, Dekli and Rahat, and these methods are replaced by modern methods like sprinkler method and drip irrigation method. First, let us study about different types of traditional irrigation method. First is moat system. It is one of the simplest and cheapest irrigation method. In this, water is drawn from a well or water source by a bucket attached to a rope. The rope is passed over a pulley and fixed to an animal. The animal walks down an earthen slope to lift water. Water is emptied into the channels and the fields are irrigated. Next, in chain pump method, two large wheels connected by a chain are positioned at an angle to each other. One wheel is near the source and the other is near the sink. The chain carries the buckets. As the wheel turns with the help of shaft and handle, the buckets dip into the pool and draw water. The chain then lifts the bucket to the upper wheel where they are tipped and the water is dumped into an upper pool. The chain then carries the empty bucket down to be refilled. The water is then released by gates into the channels, which acts as artificial streams to water the crops. Next, in Dekli system of irrigation, water is drawn from a water source with the help of a log of wood placed on a fork-shaped tree for support. The log is tied to a large stone which acts as a lever. A bucket is tied to the other end of the log. During irrigation, the rope tied to the bucket is pulled down so that the bucket goes into the water source and fills up with water. The bucket is again drawn up by pulling up the rope. The water is collected manually and poured into the channels. Next Rahat system of irrigation involves two wheels, one placed vertically over a water source, typically an open well, and the other placed horizontally at a distance. A belt of buckets is fixed to the first wheel and the ox is tied to the other wheel. As the animal pulls the wheel in a circular motion, it sets in motion the first wheel with the bucket, which draw water from the water source and irrigate the fields. The traditional methods of irrigation are cost effective but time consuming. So these traditional methods have been replaced by modern systems, that is sprinkler method and drip irrigation method. Now let us see how these modern methods are used to irrigate the crops. A sprinkler system is used and added at uneven regions as an alternative method of irrigation. Many perpendicular pipes with rotating nozzles at the top are installed or fixed at regular intervals. The pipes are placed into the field and connected to main pipeline coming from a storage tank. Water under pressure is supplied through the pipes and is sprayed like rain on the crop through nozzles. This method is mainly recommended for sandy soil and uneven land where sufficient water is not available. Next is drip irrigation system. Water is delivered near the roots of crops drop by drop. It is the most efficient method of irrigation because there is no wastage of water and it helps plants to get regular water supply. It is mostly used in areas with poor water availability. Modern irrigation methods are costly but require less labor and time. Now let us see the advantages of irrigation. Number 1. Irrigation helps seeds to germinate. पानी seeds को germinate होने में मदद करता है. Number 2. It is also essential for absorption of nutrients by plants from the soil and for the elongation of roots. The nutrients present in soil dissolve in water and are easily absorbed by the roots of plants. Number 3. Water also protects crops from dry hot air currents. पानी plants को hot air currents और frost से बचाता है. Disadvantages of excessive irrigation. It is important to provide plants with right amount of water at the right time. Excessive water can cause the following problems. If waterlogging occurs in the soil, it inhibits germination of seeds. Means excessive or too much water in soil will not allow the seeds to germinate. Number 2. Roots do not hold the crops upright. Means the soil may loosen, due to which the roots will not hold the crops upright. Number 3. Plants which cannot resist strong winds fall down. Means small and weak plants may fall down due to strong winds. Next is crop protection. Farmers use several methods to protect the crops from birds, insects, pests, weeds, etc. Some of which are as follows. Number 1. Scarecrows. Scarecrows are the images of human forms placed in fields that can keep birds away from a field. Number 2. Use of pesticides. After replenishing the soil with adequate nutrients, it is important to protect the crop from damage by pests like insect, rodents, and fungus. Insect and pest cut the root, stem, and leaf. They suck the cell sap from various parts of the plant and make the plant hollow from inside. This affects the growth and health of plants. A farmer uses pesticides like insecticides to kill insects, fungicides to destroy fungi, and rodenticides to kill rats and mice. Examples of pesticides are DDT, BHC, malathion, gamexine, and methylparathion, etc. Number 3. Weeding. Some unwanted plants grow along with crop plants and compete with the crop for water, minerals, and sunlight. These unwanted plants are called weeds. It is very important to remove weeds at regular intervals as they absorb nutrients and water necessary for crops and badly affects the growth of crops. Examples of weeds are xanthium, gokru, wild oat, etc. Following methods are used to remove weeds. Mechanical method. In this method, weeds are removed by hand or by using agricultural implements like khurpi or a harrow. Chemical method. In this method, chemicals are used for the removal of weeds by using chemicals called weedicides. Example of weedicides are 2,4-D and MCPA. Biological method. In this method, insects which feed on weeds or consume weeds are released in the field to destroy them. For example, cochineal insect is used to kill weeds like prickly pear. Next, let us see what is harvesting. Once the crops are fully grown, the next stage after crop protection is to cut or harvest the crops and collect them. So the process of cutting and gathering of crops is called harvesting. It is done manually or by using a machine. Manually, the crops can be harvested by using a sickle. A machine called harvester can also be used for harvesting. After harvesting, the grain is stored, and if it is a cereal crop, then harvesting is followed by threshing. Threshing is the process of separating grain seeds from chaff in the harvested crop. Threshing is done manually by beating the grain crops to separate grain seeds from chaff, or by a machine called thresher or a machine called combine, which is used for harvesting and for threshing. Another method used for the separation of grain seeds from chaff is winnowing. Farmers that have small lands use this method of separation of grain from seeds. The grains from chaff get separated by dropping the harvested crop on the ground from a height by using blowing wind. This process is called winnowing. The chaff which is lighter is blown away far by wind and the heavier grains fall directly to the ground. After separation of grain seeds from chaff, it is necessary to store the grain seeds very carefully to protect it from insects, pests, rodents, and fungal diseases. Bacteria and fungi can grow due to moisture present in grain seeds and damage them. So the grains are dried in the sun and then stored in gunny bags and kept in godowns. Nowadays, silos are used to store large amount of grains. Two storage methods are used to store different types of food materials: dry storage and cold storage. Dry storage is a method used for storing non-perishable food materials which do not spoil or decay quickly. Example, food grains. Small-scale grain is stored in jute bags or metallic bins at domestic level like in our house, shops, etc. On large scale or at commercial level, grain is stored in gunny bags, silos, or granaries. Cold storage is a method used for storing perishable food material which spoils or decays quickly. Example, vegetables and fruits are stored at low temperatures in refrigerators and cold rooms by this method. So these are the basic agricultural practices, that is, preparation of soil, sowing of seeds, manuring, irrigation, protection of crops, harvesting, and storage. Now next let us see different types of food products which we get from animals. As we know, animals are also an important source of food. We get milk from animals like cows, buffaloes, goat, etc. Birds like ducks, hens are a source of eggs. Honeybees give us honey. And fish, goat, hen are sources of meat. Animal products like milk, eggs, fish are rich sources of nutrients like proteins. Meat is rich in nutrients like fats and proteins. And cod liver oil obtained from fish is rich in vitamin D. Hence, animals are considered the important source of food. Animals are raised and domesticated to obtain food. The domestication or raising of animals on a large scale is called animal husbandry, and the animals raised in animal husbandry are called livestock. So livestock are domesticated animals raised in an agricultural setting to produce commodities like food, fiber, and labor for profit. Earlier we also discussed different types of farming like poultry farming, apiculture, and pisciculture. Poultry farming is the practice of raising birds like chicken, ducks, and fowls to obtain meat, eggs, etc. Apiculture is rearing of honeybees on large scale to obtain honey and wax. And pisciculture is rearing of fish on a large scale. So in this way, human beings depend on plants and animals for food and other products to survive and earn their livelihood. So here we finish the chapter Crop Production and Management.